I had to cut extra holes in Swiss cheese for an 8-year-old. The strangest orders from Subway customers. I worked at a Subway for a couple months after high school. While working there, I had a very polite customer, who was pregnant at the time, come in every other week or so and order the same foot-long ham sandwich. What made this sandwich so strange was that she would ask for a ton of black olives. Like multiple, whole handfuls of black olives. So much, that it was hard to close up and wrap the sandwich without some olives spilling out. Some of my coworkers would only give her so much before they refused to add more. There were no rules, to my knowledge, stating a limit on the amount of black olives a customer could request, so I always obliged. Knowing this, she would refuse help from my coworkers and wait for me to make her foot-long black olive sandwich. She would always comment that it was something she started ordering after becoming pregnant and it was the baby that wanted the olives. Some time had passed where I didn't see her come in anymore. Until one day, I see her walk in with a stroller and her brand new baby daughter. She brought her in so I could meet the olive baby. She thanked me for all the times I made her olive sandwich just the way she liked it and then proceeded to order a ham sandwich. Only this time, she asked for just a few olives. I quit a short time after, but I still think about that sandwich and the olive baby from time to time. What can I get for you? I'll get a 6-inch honey wheat, just condiments. Just condiments, just condiments. All of them, if you don't mind. That day ruled. We had frozen egg discs that we were supposed to heat in the oven. I say egg, but really it was more of a frozen circle of egg whites with a yellow piece in the middle that may or may not be missing depending on luck of the draw. This one guy would come in every shift I had and order just the egg circle, but didn't want us to heat it up. We handed him hard, frozen, disgusting looking, discs that sounded like rocks when banged against the counter, covered in ice flakes. He barely spoke English, so the first time he showed up we were very confused to say the least. But once we understood, he was very happy with his egg hockey pucks. I worked at Subway many years ago. There was a couple that would come in semi-regularly and she wanted just a double helping of American cheese on white bread. No veggies, no condiments. Just cheese. I never charged her for the extra cheese since I figured the veggies she wasn't getting offset it. Eventually she started asking for more and more cheese until it was easily 10x what came on it. She must have been bummed when I quit. That cheese sandwich probably would have cost about $10 if someone who gave a shit rang it up. Was getting breakfast at this place called the Great Canadian Bagel Company. The girl ahead of us gets a breakfast sandwich with extra mayo and then says, like a serious amount of mayo, more than you think is comfortable. The guy does a solid 4 servings and she shakes her head in disgust, shame, and is like, no. I'm actually messed up, I need more mayo. Took everything in me not to laugh as it happened. Worked at a small town Subway for 5 years in high school and university. We had this guy come in that we called the Mountain. He was at least 300 pounds and probably 6 feet 5 in. He always came in wearing full fleece camo outfit. Anywho, his order would always be the same, which is why I remember it so well. The guy would get a footlong with the barbecue rib patty, the most disgusting thing on the menu, and the veggie patty, the second most disgusting thing on the menu. He would also get quadruple extra bacon, the same amount as a footlong BLT with double meat. In addition to all the meat, he would get regular amounts of every cheese. Just to recap, at this point he has enough meat for 4 footlongs, and enough cheese for 4. On one goddamn footlong. Now, here's where it gets good. This dude wouldn't get any veggies. He would ask for just salt, not salt and pepper, just salt. And the cherry on top, he would say, don't bother cutting it in half. Just gonna start at one end and stop at the other. I worked at a Subway next to the shadiest motel in town and hookers would come in all the time. For the most part they were fine, but one lady would come in and get the cold cut combo and ask for oil on it. I always loved watching new employees make her food because of the look of amusement, turning to confusion, turning to horror as she demanded more oil. Empty the bottle on this sandwich and she'd get all huffy and rudely ask you to refill it and keep going. By the time you were done the bread was so saturated with oil that it just mushed apart if you tried to touch it. You had to use the paper to try and topple the oily mess into a vaguely sub-shaped blob and roll it up fast before it leaked everywhere. I always wished she'd stay in the lobby to eat it just once, so I could be sure she really intended to use it as food, but she always shuffled back to the motel to have her oily feast. I worked at a Subway a long time ago and a guy would order 2 full bags of lettuce on his sandwich every day. Imagine 2 pounds of lettuce on some bread. He would order often enough that I knew to go in the back and grab 2 full bags just for him. Don't work there anymore, but the one order that sticks in my mind above everything else was one time a guy came in on the phone to order 2 sandwiches and he explained one was for his 7 months pregnant wife, so to please make it right, he has a list of exactly what she wants. So I made it exactly how it was written down, then made his and he paid and all was good in the world. Then maybe 10 minutes later the phone rings and I answer it and there is this woman on the phone just screaming at me telling me I made her sandwich wrong and how she wanted ranch instead of mayo and blah blah and that she would send her husband in to get it remade. Ya know, full Karen minus the, let me speak to the manager bit. So the guy comes back in and I immediately recognize him and he's apologizing profusely explaining that his wife is pregnant and hormones and whatnot, and I assured him I've been yelled at for less, it's no big deal, I'll remake it at no charge. He has the offending sandwich, I remake it right and throw the old one away, and as I'm ringing up the order, even though it was free it still had to be rung up at $0 for bread count accuracy, the phone rings. So I hand the man his sandwich and answer the phone and there is this woman on the phone hysterically crying on the other end and so I ask if she's alright and she informs me that she called earlier and she felt horrible about yelling at me because she realized she wrote it down wrong and it wasn't my fault and the whole time I'm just awkwardly telling her that it's okay, no big deal, we got it taken care of, you're okay, don't worry about it, it's no big deal. And then she, still sobbing, asks me straight up, do you forgive me? And I said, it's all good, no worries. And she said, no. Do you forgive me? And I said, yeah, don't worry about it. And she asked again, but do you forgive me? And I replied, yes, I forgive you. Have a great night, ma'am. After which she hung up. I still remember that even 7 years later because it was the only time I've ever had a customer call back not only to apologize, but crying about it as well. Ironically for the question I don't actually remember what the specific sandwich was. I wanna say it was an oven-roasted chicken breast but I truly am just taking a shot in the dark. Not a worker, but a Grubhub driver. Someone ordered a meatball sub from Subway that had nothing on it but meatballs, the sauce, and about 4 times as much mayonnaise as would go on a regular sandwich. That was it. He made 2 orders for the same thing within 2 hours, and I delivered them both. He wasn't high and it wasn't a mistake. He said his sister tried it and liked it so much that they split it and had to order another one. According to the Subway worker, he would order the same thing 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, I got a few. Weirdest or at least most disgusting one was this guy who would come in regularly and order a tuna pizza. We would literally take the tuna salad and just put a layer of it across the pizza, then cover it with cheese and bake it for a few minutes. Holy shit, the smell that would come off of that things was terrible. Another was guy that ordered everything on a footlong. I mean every single kind of meat including like 3 or 4 different types of chicken, steak, meatballs, tuna, all the deli meat, all the cheese toasted, and then adding every single vegetable and condiment we owned. And we didn't skimp on anything. He got exactly how much of each that should be on a footlong, so as you can imagine it was literally impossible to fold, so we basically just left it open-faced and wrapped it in paper. Dude walked out after paying like $60 just for that one sandwich. Thanks for watching my video. Drop a like and leave a comment down below. Also don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon.